Here we go. We're getting started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Low Carb with Dana webinar. We're excited to have you guys back. We have our friends hopping on and joining us right now. As you can see, Joe's here. I am here. I'm actually in San Diego right now. And so my lighting might look a little bit different. I'm in a hotel room and it's like 6 a.m. Okay, it's not. I think it's 7 actually now, but which is pretty early for me to get up. So. And of course, the one and only Dana, who is here to chat with us about low carb. This is kind of her world. This is her lifestyle. And so it's so great to have her on and glean the wisdom from her. And we always get lots of good questions about eating low carb, what that means, how to transition to it, et cetera. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Just a reminder that we are not medical doctors. So make sure you chat with your doctor about your circumstances. These are just some recommendations and things that maybe have worked for us or Dana's clients. So here we go. All right. We got quite a few people hopping on. Hello, everyone. Again, say hi. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can say hello to us there as well. And feel free to ask your questions. If you have not registered for this webinar and you're just seeing it for the first time by chance, you can go to bartonwebinar.com and you will find a link to sign up for this free webinar that we do every 2 weeks. Okay, same time, same place. So you'll get that link emailed to you.
We have some quick exciting news I thought I would share.
Yes.
Dana's daughter got engaged this past week. It's exciting.
She did. Thanks, Joe.
What to who?
And also exciting is she got engaged to my son. So we're going to be family, Dana.
That is exciting.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, they've been dating for 5 years. And on the 5th year and 1 day, they got engaged. So as he was patiently waiting for the ring to show up,
I love it.
Pretty exciting. So
cool.
Very exciting.
Yeah. All right.
I'm still I think on that roller coaster high. I can't come down yet. Maybe I won't come down. It's fun.
Yeah. Their pictures were so cute together. Cedric's like 6'4" and Emily's 5'4", something like that.
She likes to say that, but she's probably 5'2".
I'll have to maybe share my screen or send a picture over here at some point today, but
you should do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get rolling.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. Again, ask your questions in the Q&A, or if you're on Facebook, feel free to post in the comments. Let's say someone is maybe new to the diabetes solution kit, or they're wanting to change their lifestyle, etc., and they want to start eating low carb. How would you recommend, or how do you recommend to your clients to start that transition?
Sure. So the transition from the standard American diet to a low carb or even keto lifestyle, it's challenging because the food choices that we have around us are so high in carbohydrate. They're processed, and it causes food addiction. So be gentle with yourself as you transition, and just know there are different ways that you can do this. The first thing I always encourage my clients to do is just become aware. What are you eating, and where are those high carbohydrate foods sneaking into your diet? And when you become aware of the high carb foods, maybe just pick one meal. What is your the highest carb meal that you have? And just work on changing that. Give yourself a week or 2, or maybe you even need a month to focus on changing that, your highest carb meal. And oftentimes it starts with breakfast. Breakfast has just become almost dessert. We're eating pancakes and waffles and oatmeal, toast with jelly and orange juice. But it's understandable because that's what we've been told to eat. Eating a higher fat and high protein breakfast really hasn't been a part of the conversation or a part of the nutrition recommended guidelines. So if breakfast is your biggest high carb intake, maybe that's a place you could start. And how do you start by transitioning? Well, if you typically have 2 pieces of toast, maybe it's 3, could you cut back to 1 piece of toast and replace the rest of, to get you full? Maybe have, instead of 1 egg, have 3 eggs and just see how you feel, rather than you feel so stuffed at breakfast, but then 2 hours later, you're like, oh my goodness, I need to eat right now. See how you feel with 3 eggs rather than 1. It's going to carry you through much farther with having some protein and fat at that meal. And once breakfast becomes a habit, take a look at your lunch and your evening meal if you're eating 3 meals per day. If you do a 2 meal a day, just like I say, focus on 1 meal at a time. And then once you feel like you've got that down, add the next meal that you can change. Some people are ready to go cold turkey and just flip and change right away. But oftentimes, when we're extreme, if we go from super high carb to all in, I'm going to do this, sometimes change doesn't last as long as we want it to. So when we add gradual changes and habits, that seems to be more sustainable for at least the people that I work with.
That's good. Again, I've mentioned this before, but I also think there's just this mindset shift sometimes that has to happen for me, especially that I have to eat breakfast foods for breakfast. And I don't even like breakfast foods. So if there's foods that you like that are good for you, it's okay to eat those in the morning. We give you permission to do that. You don't have to eat the traditional foods. One thing that we do differently in our family, we don't ever buy cereal, which is really weird. We just never have. And so my kids never have really gotten in that. They go places and they have cereal and they want to binge eat it, but you just get used to the way you do things. So anyway, I appreciate those ideas. That's good.
That's a great point, Leslie, with breakfast. Yeah. Just remember, breakfast, you are breaking your fast, and you can choose any way to break your fast. Is it eggs that you want because that's a typical feel-good breakfast food for you? Perfect. What about a hamburger? I have oftentimes had a leftover burger from the grill with veggies on the side because that's just what sounded good and it was easy. Let's make things easy here. Use your protein that you have prepared from the night before and go ahead and make that your first meal of the day. Many of my clients have made that transition from breakfast foods to tolerating a hamburger or even enjoying a hamburger. When you change that mindset, like Leslie was saying, rather than breakfast, how about your first meal of the day? And the first time that you eat, whether it's 8 a.m., 11, or noon, that is going to set you up for your day. So when you include protein and a good amount of fat, which is different for everybody, it's really going to help ward off those cravings and just give you sustained energy throughout the day.
How do you feel about like Bulletproof coffee in the morning?
Sure. Bulletproof can work very well for some people, but a lot of my clients have a fair amount of fat loss is their goal. And so if you want to lose fat, quite often doing a Bulletproof coffee, adding fat doesn't work for them. But there are plenty of stories where it can work for you. And if you feel satiated and you're getting enough protein calories throughout the day with your other meal or meals, I'm okay with it. I used to do it. I've actually used, who's the Bulletproof? Dave Asprey, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have used his MCT oil. He has a little bit upgraded version, like a brain octane oil. It's a C8, only has 8 carbons rather than 12 carbons, which is a coconut oil. So it's digested just a little bit better or faster. And I've done it, but there's 100 calories in a tablespoon of MCT oil, coconut oil, butter. So we just need to be aware of where that's coming from. But if that feels good to you, I would say go for it.
Okay, it's good. So I always like to ask, what are some of your easy go-to meals for someone who might just be getting started? You know, maybe they have their grocery store or Costco or something close. What do you think? What would you recommend?
Sure. Costco, you can go and buy their beef it's under $4 a pound for some ground beef. You know, of course, grass-fed beef, I do try to incorporate that more often than not. But realistically, not everybody has the budget to use grass-fed. So if you can just go to whether it's Costco, Sam's, Walmart, wherever you can find the best price per pound of ground beef, stock up on that. And don't hesitate to brown up 3, 4, 5, even 6 pounds of ground beef at a time. Quite often I will then separate. I'll have 2 options for ground beef. I'll do one Italian option and one Mexican option. So I will have spaghetti sauce on hand, like a heavy meat Italian option. And then on the other half of that beef, Mexican. I could eat Mexican probably all day long. So I will just make that into taco meat, and you can do taco boats, or how about a taco in a bowl? And that's probably one of my go-tos, is to do a taco in a bowl. And there's low carb chips that you can do if you want to crunch that on top. So Italian or Mexican, I like to divide that. Another option with ground beef that you might have prepared would be, if you like peppers, green peppers and onions, have those sauteed ready to go, throw that on top of your beef, and with some pepper jack cheese, you'll have like a Philly cheesesteak in a bowl. So those are 3 of kind of my go-to beef options. Last night I did rotisserie chicken from Costco. Depending on how big your family is, grab 2 rotisserie chickens. And when you get home, shred them up right away, because it's easier to get it off the bone, and then you've got chicken protein all ready to go. I enjoy it plain. My daughter will sometimes dip it in ketchup. They also have this really good, it's a lower carb buffalo dip at Costco right now. And it's like a plant-based cashew is the fat in it, and it's really good. And I just put that on top of my chicken with some Brussels sprouts last night, and it was amazing.
Are we getting feedback, Leslie?
Yeah.
Okay. Hearing a little staticky noise.
Am I? Is that me?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's me.
Yeah, whenever you talk, like it adds like a staticky sound with your voice. So.
Again, those of you who are just joining, you can go to bartonwebinar.com and you can sign up for this free webinar. You will also see a link to our YouTube page or YouTube channel where you will be able to watch all of our past webinars. We've covered a lot of information here, and then also we do a webinar on Thursdays that's type 2 specific with Dr. Saunders. So that's a really good place to go and get a lot of information. This is such good information too. I love this because we all have to eat, right? There's no way getting around eating. So we might as well learn the right way to do it. So how's it looking?
Should we try again? Can you still hear it? Is it still scratchy?
It is.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Did it just start?
Mm-hmm.
A couple, maybe 2 minutes ago it did, yeah. Well, we can stall if you wanted to like disconnect and reconnect.
Yep, I will do that.
Okay.
Okay. We do have Deborah on here from Minnesota. Hello, Deborah. And Kathy is from Montana. Let us know where you guys are from. Joe, anything you want to share today?
Not necessarily, but you can pause recording if you want, but or we can just keep it rolling. But I don't think we've ever had to pause recording. Well, I'll just ad lib here. So, yeah. So I will share my own personal little story here. So I did low carb for 75 days. I did a 75-day challenge in April through June, and I lost about, what was it, 14 pounds, and was feeling pretty good. And then July 1st, I was done, and I went back and kind of didn't eat low carb for a while, and then just up until this week, I was feeling kind of bloated and heavy, and so went back to eating low carb again, and man, like, it's amazing what can happen in one day of like eating clean and healthy and dropping the bloat and all of that. So it's kind of nice to have this as a secret weapon in your back pocket if you are getting stuck and whatever. And it not only shifts your physical body, but like mentally, like if you can power through and do one full day. There she is.
Okay, how does this sound?
Hey, sounds good.
Great.
Okay, well, my microphone, it's the Yeti Nano Night microphone that is giving me issues, so bummer.
Oh, interesting.
We're gonna try this, so I'm glad this is gonna work. So Joe, you're feeling better doing a little low carb? Is that what I was?
Yeah. I just started it on Sunday, I think. Yeah, and I was just like feeling flat and bloated, and I kept stepping on the scale, and it slowly creeped up, and I'm like, all right, that's enough is enough. I put in my 75 days and made good progress with that whole program, but then it was starting to creep back up, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to lose all the progress I had here with the slow creep. So yeah.
Right.
One thing that I really loved, we interviewed someone who was eating low carb, and he did it for a long time, and then he slowly started introducing some other foods so that he could see how different things affected him. And kind of like Joe had said, it's always just in your back pocket. You know what to do now if you get into trouble. And that was one of the biggest things that he had said too. He said it's just so easy to eat low carb, and now he's found all of his favorite foods. And so I think that's something that all of us, one, you can be excited about eating low carb, knowing there's the possibility of you adding new foods in eventually. You don't have to cut out all food forever. But you do want to see how your body responds to it. So there's hope either way.
I think that's so true, because we can repair and heal our metabolic health. Going low carb means different things for different people. Your phase 1 is very low carb or keto. And how long people are in that phase, I'm sure can vary, but you have a recommended set time. But as people transition and add more foods, it's exciting to see what our bodies can do once the healing process has started. And I'm not saying that we have damaged ourselves, but it's just the environment that we live in that the damage has unintentionally occurred. Like, we just didn't know. When those guidelines came out in 1980, the food guide pyramid, they said, don't eat red meat and go low fat. We ate all of the potatoes and rice and bread and anything that didn't have fat, and we didn't know what we were doing. So as our body starts to relearn how to be metabolically healthy, it is really fun to be able to add some things back in mindfully and slowly, like the person you interviewed, Leslie. It's like a slow test of what your body can tolerate.
He said, what did he say? One of his recommendations for people who are just getting started with low carb was basically to just suck it up and do it. You know what I mean? He was so funny. He's like, but it works so fast and it just works so well. He's like, just do it. So
right.
That was
and
good.
that works for many people, depending on your personality type. Are you an abstainer or are you a moderator? I think we've talked about that before. Some people are ready to go all in, and others they just need to put their toes in the water and see what it's like. So just acknowledge where you're at with your change process and go from there.
Do you find more people are more moderate or like full what'd you call it? Abstain or?
Abstainer or a moderator. It's
Yeah.
I got that from Gretchen Rubin. She has the 4 personality tendencies, and most of my clients are moderators. I have a few abstainers, but like I said, oftentimes that black and white thinking, either I'm on or I'm off, can really lead to trouble down the road for some people. It works for some, but then others it's, well, I'm off. So then people eat all the carbs
That's
and
me.
sugar.
I'm an abstainer. I'm
Yeah.
great. I have to be black and white. And
Yep.
yeah, when I'm on it, everything's great. But then when I'm not, it's like, oh, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe you have
Yep.
to cycle through that a little more
Yep.
frequently then or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's finding that space in the middle where, when you are able to add more carbs, how are you able to create a mindset that is like, oh, well, a little bit is okay, but I don't need to have like the whole container of ice cream,
Yeah.
something
Right.
like that, or chocolate chip cookies, or whatever your go-to is.
Yeah. All of the above.
Yes. I was just listing mine, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we had some people asking our Facebook name. So you can find us at Barton Publishing. We'll also get some links here for Dana because she has some ways that you can follow her socially as well. And she posts a lot of really good stuff. So Barton Publishing, you can find us there on Facebook. And then the YouTube videos are Barton Webinar. And to confuse you one step, further here, just go to bartonwebinar.com and you will be able to find links to these.
Yes.
And why don't we go ahead and actually Dana, can you tell us how to find you on social media as well?
Sure. My website is danacushinghealth.com. Cushing is Cushing. Instagram is dana.cushing.health. And on Facebook, I have a Facebook group that is a private group, but it's called Stop Sugar Secrets. And it's just a group where we can all jump in and share our own tips and tricks on how we are eating less sugar.
Awesome. Okay, so I posted those in the chat, at least her name and the spelling. Let's see. Deborah says, I came across a great website for low carb recipes, that lowcarblife.com by Carly Campbell. I've tried several of her posted recipes and my family loves what I have made so far.
Okay.
That's awesome. Good. Thank you. That's what we want. We want to know what you guys are loving too, because this helps the whole group.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. So thank you for sharing, Deborah.
Awesome. And then Meg, hey Meg, says, let's see, come on here. She made, hello from Oregon, famous Israeli chef and London restaurateur, Yadam Atalangi, has a wonderful cauliflower cake. They made it with, how do you say that? Za'atar and other Middle Eastern spices and had it warm at first and then also cooler and treat it like a quiche. So any temperature is okay. It's a high egg dish too, and we found it useful to grab for picnics. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, keep it refrigerated. Oh, awesome. That's great. Very good. We had a dinner with a bunch of people. I'm actually in San Diego. We had a dinner last night at a Brazilian steakhouse. And on their salad bar, I was just so impressed at all of the healthy options they had. In fact, I know I have eggplant in my garden right now, and it was a roasted eggplant with like balsamic, and it was just so amazing. And then there was a really good, honestly, I'm not even sure. I probably like a curry cauliflower, and oh my gosh, there was so many. So there is a lot of really good food that you can eat that is low carb. You can still enjoy the spices you love. And honestly, you can have a lot of fun making some of these foods too. So.
All right, look what I got going here. I added a little picture. This is my video background of the newly engaged couple, Cedric and Emily. I have to hide because if I come over here, it's like, hey, how's it going? But yeah, exciting stuff. I said earlier that I'd share a picture of these two. So There they are.
They're
And I get
adorable.
to not only work together, but we get to become family here next summer.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
exciting. All right, back to low carb stuff.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, we have just a couple minutes if any of you have questions. I know that we have people that are hopping on or that did hop on Facebook too. We do have a group that you could check out as well. Barton Webinar is on Facebook, and that is a group where people are kind of sharing some of these ideas as well. So lots of ways to connect with us socially, find information, find good recipes. And in this day and age, you can Google low carb recipes and even name 3 of the ingredients probably that you have at home, and you will find something online that someone has made. So it's a good time to try some new cooking options. Okay. Loretta says, what does that mean about changing your metabolic profile? How does the body heal?
That's a great question, Loretta. And I was referring to like your metabolic health, or you could say your metabolic profile. The standard American diet, our metabolism will use carbohydrates or sugar for energy. But when you go low carb, your body learns how to use fat for energy. There's 3 main nutrients that our body, when we put something in our mouth, we're either eating a carbohydrate, a protein, or a fat. The 2 energy sources are carbs or fats. And then protein is that building block that's in the center. And a standard American diet is, we're very much sugar burners. So the stored body fat that we have, our body does not know how to tap into that, because every time we put anything sugar, so whether it's, your 29 grain bread, a sweet potato, rice, or a candy bar, fruit, dairy, our body has to break that into sugar. So boom, we have to burn that off before we can tap into the stored body fat that we might have. But as we lower those carbohydrates down, our body says, oh, we're not getting carbs or sugar energy. So now our body switches and starts to burn fat for energy. And when our body learns to burn fat, that is where the weight loss comes from on low carb. And when our body has learned how to use this fat energy tank for a while, then we can more easily switch back to the other fuel tank, our carb tank. So I've been low carb for many years, and my body now can use carbs or fat for energy, which is kind of fun to be able to eat a few more carbohydrates and still have, I like to call it metabolic flexibility, like it's flexible. I can eat higher fat one day, or maybe add more carbs on another day. So it's just teaching our body how to use either energy tank. Let me know if I need to explain that more.
That was good. Thank
Okay.
you, Loretta, for your question. Okay. And you know what? Our time is actually up as well. So she says that was great. Perfect.
Okay, good.
Awesome. You guys, okay, we will be back here, same time, same place in 2 weeks. So bring your questions, bring your friends, send them the link so that they can hop on as well. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. So again, thank you, Dana, for being with us today. And Joe, pleasure as always.
Of course. Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
guys.
Have a good day.